Well,
Emotionally, it's got to be
emotionally,
devastating.
7 points can seem overwhelming. You know, obviously we realize realistically 7 points is really only 100 yards away at the very most, but I tell you, for somebody as impressionable as a high school athlete, that sort of thing can be devastating, and you really look for the coaches to exhort them and try to get them to overcome that.
And the Crest Heights, whoa, is he knocked down at the 25-yard line.
There, possibly.
Byron Brown, the ball carrier. Crest takes over, 7:42 to go.
Well, a little better field position this time for the Chargers. They'll start off at about the 26-yard line. I don't think Coach Mike Stewart is desperate enough yet to revert to his passing offense, but I look for them maybe to open things up a little more. They tried to sweep outside and gained about 7 yards on the first play from scrimmage. So, you know, maybe they're going to go off tackle more often now.
And here's split right, Brian Crocker for the Lions. Of course, Jeter's really playing center field for the defense for the Lions. And it is going to be a pass right across the middle. It's open to Thomas. Ooh!
Was he stuck?
He had it there for just a moment. And
that's Darrell Davis again.
And then it was all over. So far. Josh Thomas. Josh is a big boy. Josh is 6 foot, 190 pounds. He's a senior. The ball was there momentarily.
Unfortunately for Josh, he was wide open for that hit, though.
Hey,
didn't have a chance to protect himself.
That's for sure. Chargers have second down and 10 yards to go. They've got to go to almost the 37-yard line for a first down. Split wide this time, Byron Brown. This time up the middle, and it goes for a yard and a half, Robert.
Well, the problem that time, the Chargers got themselves in the Lions' stunning defense, and they ran the ball right into the gut of the stun.
Kelly Upton and Brian Crocker coming in with the play. 6:43 to go. Here again, it's third down and long. Brian Crocker split wide along with number 82. That's Shun Goforth. We have movement in the Crest line. That's 5 yards.
For Crest to go on 2, but you've got to stay there and wait for that second count. Obviously, Shelby had jumped off sides, but that Crest player moved. It's the offensive penalty. That really can devastate you. You have to be disciplined in order to run it on the second snap.
So that makes it third down and a long ways for the first down.
It's going to be third down and about 13. That's a big chunk of yardage for a team that primarily is a running team.
Ronald Ross comes into the ball game. No doubt bringing in the play. Coming out of the ball game, number 33, Kenneth Ramsor. So I look for another passing play. Kelly Upton showed us last week with Burns that he is capable of throwing the ball, provided he has time to get it off. That's up.
Here's the option for the first time. Upton on the keeper.
Just past the original line of scrimmage. It's going to be fourth down.
I tell you, the option is probably the least effective offense against a team as quick as Shelby that can pursue down the lines really with 11 players.
And anytime you've got the Golden Lions, you have a well-schooled football team to where unless you knock down the man, he's not going to move out of his position. He's going to remain there and watch his keys.
Tough series for Crest. They really need to get something started that team that time, I think.
Jermaine Jeter is deep. He stands on the 37-yard line of the Lions. It's a low snap, but he gets the punt away. Jeter will take it on the 35-yard line, and he gets outside again. He's picked up midfield out to the 48-yard line of the Chargers. Jeter showing some speed getting around that corner.
Stuck over there that time by number 51, Chad Taylor.
I think this right now, Robert, I realize we're just 5:15 in the first quarter. I think the Chargers are going to have another defensive stand like they did on the opening play.
Well, you can't spot a team 7 early points like this and not play perfect defense the rest of the ballgame in order to overcome something like that, especially when you're not an outstanding offensive ball club.
Ooh,
ball had been tipped, so I think obviously
that's Mike Daves was the charger on that.
No question that he got there a little early, but I think the ball had been tipped prior to that.
The intended receiver was Sheldon Thompson for the Golden Lions. It'll be second down and 10.
Shelby showing they're not afraid to open the ball.
I like that. Of course, you know, we expected from Jeffords that there would be some aerial antics tonight. And Jeters comes around the side, stops, lets his defense.
15, Jermaine Jeter.
Boy, weaved in and out and made
That's
7
right.
out of what really could have been nothing.
Left it. He followed his blockers well.
Richard Rocco there on the spot, but only after about an 8-yard, check that, a 6-yard gain.
Gain of 7 yards on the play, third down 3.
Going to bring up about 3rd and 3, 3rd and 4.
Third and a long 3 or a short 4.
From Crest standpoint, I'd like to think it's a long 3.
They've got one receiver split wide, 81, Sheldon Thompson. He's one of the favorite receivers, but no, up the middle, fumble. The ball's loose. Shelby, I don't know. I think Crest has it this time. Crest High Chargers recover.
And it looks like number 2 is there. That's
Ryan Cronger come up with the ball. It was one of those deals where the Lions had a shot at it. Let's see the replay on this, Robert. See if we can pick up for sure on this. Up the middle.
Out.
There he got
They really
loose.
had the handle on it.
That's right. The number
Crocker
2,
was in
Crocker,
there.
come in. We've got 3:59. The Chargers are graced with good field position. They're on their own 37-yard line.
Wouldn't be surprised at all again to see them open it up.
Thomas
Put it
in
the air.
motion. Sets up. And
Oh.
a busted play.
Unfortunate.
Kelly Upton looked to hand off. No one was there.
Tackled by number 31.
I think there's a possibility that Kenneth Ramseur maybe went the wrong way.
Well, it's early in the season. Obviously, they haven't practiced every play in the playbook as often as you'd like, and
No gain on the play, second down 10.
you're going to have mistakes like that, and it's forgivable, obviously. From a coaching standpoint, you'd like to think that'll never happen.
I've never seen a forgiving coach. Is there such an animal? He drops back. He's got a man open coming across the middle. Wide.
Good.
Oh!
My goodness, right in his hand.
Hit him in the worst place. That was Sean Goforth. He had been open. If we can see that again, guys, he had been open for a while. And then
Upton showing good poise back there, throwing on the run like that.
pass
More
was
difficult
definitely
throws
on
to
the
make.
money. There was no question about that. Now watch how long he was open. Oh, that would have been a first down.
That's going to be hometown rivalry jitters. I guess
Yeah.
you can excuse it with that.
It's third down and 10 yards to go for the Crest High Chargers. The Golden Lions in there. Traditional black and white and gold, and a vicious-looking team. That's a
Straight drop back. Tip that time.
Up the pass, intended for number 2, Brian Crocker.
That's number 30, Eric Littlejohn there on the tip.
Fourth down.
Okay, again, it's going to be Crest punting. 3:02 to go, 7-0. The Golden Lions still lead on that fumble and run in for the TD. Jeters is going to be deep, and unless it's going to be a high punt, Jeters is going to pick up, I would say, 15 yards. He is
Well, he's
that
so
quick
quick,
getting the outside.
and he meets the ball well.
Let's see here if it's not it's a short punt.
Boy, nearly blocked.
And he picks up 5, 10, 15 yards, Rob.
Boy, that first step is quick.
He had 15 yards before anyone could even get a hand on
Before
him.
number
And the
33
coverage
Tanner
on that
Ramseur got there.
was not bad.
No,
The
no.
coverage was not bad.
It's simply a little sidestep, but then he had an open field of about 10 yards. Then he powered through for another 5.
The Golden Lions take possession. They're on their own 46-yard line. Hey, remember, Robert, late registration is September 11th through the 15th at Cleveland Community College. And we'll talk a little more about that as the game progresses. Jeffries, as we expect, under center. He rolls out the pass. He kicks it under his arm and picks up 6-7 yards before he is storm tackled.
You know, not at all to slight Jeffords, but really to make a comparison between last year's team and this year's team. Chad Holbrook would have broken that for another 8 or 9 yards. A much faster player. Jeffords a better passer, better stand-up runner, a power runner. But boy, he's not nearly as quick as Chad Holbrook was.
And one thing I noticed on that play, Rob, and we'll watch it the next time Jeffries, tucks the ball and runs, is the fact that he was carrying it out in front of him. That's Fumble
Good point.
City. Full backfield. And the quarterback keeper again. This time he stacked up short of the line of scrimmage.
Good defensive surge. Richard dropped there along with a host of other Chargers.
And this broadcast, you're watching it on Vision Cable Channel 22. Let me remind you of that. And the camera work and everything is set up by the Cleveland Community College Telecommunications Program with Dan Morton and Greg Tillman and Mel Campus. So, you know, you can be a part of our broadcast by being a student at Cleveland Community College. We'd love to have you here, that's for sure.
Put the ball in the air.
He does.
Good pressure.
Pressure coming from the back.
There it is.
The front. Boom!
Number 78 over there in the stop for Crest, Joe Chambers. Excellent pursuit that time. But really, you have to call that a defensive backfield sack because the coverage was there and it was a coverage sack. Boy, good pressure, good pursuit.
So as we wind down the first period of play here from Crest High Stadium, except for the one fumble recovery, our score would be 0-0. Deep for the Chargers is going to be Mike Daves and number 10, Autumn Surratt. Ooh, just barely gets the kick away. They're going to let it hit.
It takes a Shelby bounce.
About as wide as it is long. If he'd fielded, he'd been tackled right in the air also. So that's probably the Crest Chargers will get off one play, 19 seconds to go.
Well, average field possession really in the favor of Shelby. They're starting primarily from their 40 to 45-yard line. Crest starting from their own 20 to 25. It's about a 20-yard differential there.
So as we look toward the second period, we may not get off a play before we go into the second period.
It's been a quick first period.
It certainly has, and the game has, it really hasn't gone the way I expected. I expected a little more offense.
It's gone exactly the way I expected.
I
expected to see both teams come out, put the ball in the air, be unsuccessful with it for the onset, but then at least continue to attempt to set up that passing attack because I think that both teams realize they can probably exploit the other team's weaknesses by putting the ball in the air.
Okay, the Cleveland Community College graduation will be at 7 p.m. this Monday and Wednesday, so if you're watching this broadcast this Monday night, Wednesday you can see graduation again. And if it's Monday night and since you're watching our broadcast, you know that we came on at 8 o'clock on Monday, and then we'll come on again at 8 o'clock Wednesday next week. Then the weeks following that, every Monday and Wednesday, the broadcast of the high school football game will be at 7 p.m. And we have really got a great schedule lined up for this coming season, Robert. Next week it's Burns and Shelby. No, not Burns and Shelby.
Next week I believe we have a blank schedule as far as football. We have the Mad softball game next Thursday, but there's no football broadcast next week.
Okay.
2 weeks after that, I believe we have a Shelby game at home.
I think we should do Burns and Shelby next.
It'd be a nice
We're going to be there, so we might as well do the broadcast. So, and we will remind you, the Mad Mothers Against Drunk Drivers softball game where you have the highway patrolmen and the deputy sheriffs and police department against the lawyers is coming up next Thursday with Roman Gabriel's going to be there. I'll tell you a little more about that in just a minute. The Chargers, they're on offense, and it didn't work, Rob.
Well, you can't exactly say they're moving like a well-oiled machine yet.
No, not yet. Yeah, Roman Gabriel is going to be there. He's going to be up in the broadcast booth with me. And, you know, there's been a lot of interest since they found out I was going to be broadcasting the game, and I just casually mentioned that Roman Gabriel was going to be there, right?
Gabriel, let's see, is now president of the Charlotte Knights, isn't it?
Something like, he works for George Shin.
Yeah.
And
I believe it's for the baseball franchise, oddly enough.
Real nice guys, my understanding. Up the middle this time, and nothing. The ball carrier was Kenneth Ramsewer, and he did not get anything.
Shelby's a little too quick on the defensive line, I think, to try anything off center or even off guard. And they got to try those deep sweeps. So they got to try probably maybe a few short passes in the flat. The only time they tried to pass in the flat, obviously, was when Josh Thomas over here was dunked and really had the ball in his hands, but I think probably intimidated a little bit by the coverage. But those sorts of things are going to be effective in high school because it's an easier patch to catch and bring in than a pass out on the deep.
It's 3rd and long for the Chargers. He does back the pass, and it's
Oh,
caught
boy.
and then dropped. With the
Oh,
two
my
receivers' hands, and Brian Crocker had it, and then he couldn't hold on
And
to
I
it.
don't
Guys,
think
can we
Crocker
see
was the
that one
intended
again?
receiver.
I don't think so either. I think there was two receivers in the area, and then Crocker almost come up with the real good play. Okay. The Golden Lions now will, I'm sure, have Jeter deep. There's no question about that.
Jeter standing at about the 50-yard line. They could have incredible.
They will. I would not be a bit surprised for them to end up on the 35-yard line.
And you know, I don't know what sort of passer Kelly up to that, but if he can throw the ball 40, 50 yards,
blocked.
he might be better off throwing the intentional interception down
Okay,
the field.
Jeter takes it on the 42-yard line. He's across midfield and stacked up at the 43-yard line. He didn't catch that one on the fly, or I think he would have been further down the field.
Jen Taylor and several others over there on the stop.
So this would be the best field position that the Lions have experienced tonight. There's 10:31 to go in the second period play. Real fast-moving ball game.
Neither team has really had any extended sort of series of offensive plays out there. So both defenses should be relatively fresh for that second half.
Crest had the first down earlier. It goes to Jeter out of the backfield, second man through. Crest had that first down and then the fumble, and then have they had another first down?
And they've fallen apart since then. Shelby's offensive line really surged off the ball that time, opened a gaping hole.
Big hole.
For Jermaine Jeter.
Picked up a little over 5 yards. It's going to be second down and 4 yards to go for the first down. The Shelby High Golden Lions have a lot in their pocket tonight.
7 points.
An interesting line there. They had a split backfield, had two receivers split to this side, number 87 Stuart Torrey, and Jeter were both out on this end, split wide. Interesting setup.
Well, Shelby is fundamentally wishbone type offense, but of course Jim Taylor's innovative enough to try to incorporate different sets and different patterns into his offensive scheme.
Split wide for the Golden Lions is Sheldon Thompson, and he is one of Jeffrey's favorite targets. But up the middle, and it's going to be a first down, Golden Lions.
Straight ahead power running by Johnny Brooks and fullback.
The first and 10 for the Golden Lions at the 32-yard line.
It's the first down that the Lions have made tonight.
And it was a ground control drive, too.
Chargers need something big here. Need a turnover or stop in the backfield, something to turn the momentum around.
I look for maybe, of course, I don't know, they may go conservative right now, but it would not be a bad time for a pass. Jeter, the second man through. This time he's stacked up after a 2-yard gain.
I agree with you. I look for the state primarily conservative, but it'd be an excellent time for a pass. Crest obviously probably expects Shelby to stay on the ground, trying to find out those first downs.
We have a timeout.
Option.
Timeout, Crest. I'm a little surprised at that right now. Rob, let's talk a little bit about this game. In that, with Crest and with as Coach Stewart said in the early paper reports about what they expected from this season and things like that. Coach Stewart talked about still having the 3A mentality and, let's beat Burns and Crest beat Shelby and something like that, and then the rest of the season doesn't matter.
Right.
And, this is, whether anyone likes it or not, it's true.
In the scheme of things for Crest, this should be one of the most insignificant games of the season, because obviously it's a non-conference game. It's a game that really doesn't or should not indicate or be indicative of what sort of team you're going to have the rest of the year. It shouldn't, a loss obviously shouldn't devastate you, shouldn't demoralize you, and should make you realize that you're not as good a team as you thought you were. But let's face it, this is probably the biggest game of the season for a lot of these kids. They grew up in this area. They grew up hating Shelby High School. They grew up with the I've got to compete against Shelby athletes mentality. We've got to compete against the system at Shelby. It's a big game for a lot of them. I think it's true. Mike Stewart has mentioned many times in the past that he's not getting the sort of community support that he really needs and I think deserves at Crest, because they are 4A now. They're going to continue to be 4A. They've got to compete as a team in 4A.
and yet the stadium is full. And the Lions trying to get outside. We've got a flag. The ball carrier was
Probably
number 22, Darrell Davis, for the Golden Lions.
Probably flip out there as well, but number 12, Mike Davis, really fought off the block and made an excellent tackle.
But as far as the community is concerned, this is the biggest game of the season.
Absolutely.
As far as the home games.
Absolutely.
Of course, last week, the game was at Burns, and it was a big ball game with Burns. A great victory for the Bulldogs. And, after tonight, will people come out?
Well, you've got homecoming coming up in a couple of weeks. I believe Kings Mountain. But you don't know. Traditionally, the games against and let's face it, they're primarily Charlotte teams. The games against the Charlotte teams haven't been, I think, as competitive as some of the fans would like. Crest has had better than 500 seasons in the past against a lot of the 4A opponents. But you've got to wonder. I was at several of the games against the 4A opponents 3 years ago, and I'd venture to say that there were less than 2,000 persons in the entire stadium. It hurts your revenue, hurts your gate receipts. It really decreases the interest in the football program in the community, which, of course, establishes the support for a football team.
This time, Jeffrey's back to pass. He's got a man open deep. If he can get it there, one of the receivers fell down. It fell between the two. Number 84 was one of them. That was Kenneth Hawley.
That's probably a desperation pass more than anything. I think Jeffords probably realized that just putting the ball in the air wasn't really going to hurt anything. An interception would only give Crest the ball on about their own 30-yard line. But maybe not as intelligent a play as you'd like to see from a young quarterback.
It's third down, and a long ways to go for the first down. Again, I air it out. An interception deep in the other person's territory, in some cases, is going to be a whole lot better than a punt.
Well,
because you've got a man there to tackle it.
I'd feel more comfortable from a coaching standpoint if that had been third down as opposed to second down. You don't want to take your desperation pass, I think, on what could be one of your yardage gains.
He's back to pass again, and caught behind, and a good hit by the Lions.
That's a good call. Jeffords' arm obviously coming through. A beautiful defensive play that time.
And Jeffries jumps right back up and hustles off the field. Now, he took a shot. Well, I think that speaks well of the young man.
The Crest defense really turned that around because Shelby had momentum. They were moving the ball well. They had a 1st and 10 down at about the Crest 32-yard line, and suddenly now they're punting from behind the 50-yard line. And the momentum's gone. Good surge for them. Maybe that was a good timeout for them defensively.
Maybe so. Deep for the Chargers will be number 12. That's Mike Daves.
Daves is kind of a jack of all trades for the Chargers.
And Pauly is going to be the punter for the Golden Lions. And almost dead midfield is a low snap. Punts away. Good punt. Drives him back, and if it doesn't go in the end zone, it does. It'll be the Golden Lions. Correction, it'll be the Chargers ball at the 20-yard line. There's a couple of Golden Lions down there, but they couldn't quite get the
ball
in
at
time.
55 yards in the air.
That is a tremendous punt, and really, as I said at the start of the game, used to the kicking game was not a big deal. I guess the first really good kicker anyone around here had was Robbie Reynolds. Robbie Reynolds for the Golden Lions. He was a great punter, and then it was kind of, you would have some average, and then the Lions come up with their great punter and field goal kicker, and now a Tar Heel. Kelly to pass. He tucks it under and taken from behind with a defensive play.
Listen to the mysterious number
71 strikes again. And I'm sorry, but I cannot think of the field goal kicker's name for
Clint
Shelby.
Waltney.
Clint Waltney. And he's now with the Tar Heels and should see a lot of action tomorrow.
We hope so. Look forward to a competitive game against VMI. I think it's certainly easier to start the season against VMI than Auburn.
Kelly Upton gave it a valiant effort there. I thought he was really going to get around the edge and pick up a couple, 3 more yards, but number 71 for the Lions did a number on him. Josh Thomas again flip-flopping. Up the middle for the Chargers, and nowhere.
Good line surgery. Boy, the Lions really cut it off quickly. That was number 9, Scott Thomas.
.6:31 to go in the first half. Robert, the banks are full, the stands are full. And we've got a
This is one
battle
of the
going
largest
on
crowds
here.
that I can remember in a while.
Everyone's looking forward now to the halftime show by the bands. In the far end of the end zone for the Chargers, we've got a horse that's ready to gallop around the field should there be a touchdown. There's a long way to go for the Chargers right now. 3rd down, 7. Kelly drops back, intercepted! And it is off to the races. If he can't stop him, it's going to be 7 points. It's a touchdown, Golden Lions. The interception, I believe, was number 31, was it not, Robert? Keith Jolly? Is it 31?
I think that's 30, I believe. It's Eric Littlejohn.
Let's see the instant on that. And Kelly threw it right in his hands.
No, it's 31.
31. Threw it right in his hands, and then it was 7. 6 points. Here we go. Now watch this. Kelly had time, had a man open, and he just threw it in his
Just
hands.
sidearmed it.
Right here was the only shot Crest had to get him, and they didn't get him. Almost a late hit also. So now we go for the extra point.
Well, taking advantage again of the opportunities. Shelby's jumped out to what could be a commanding 13, possibly 14-point lead.
Kick is up. It looks good from here. Our score with 5:57 to go in the second period of play is the Shelby High Golden Lions 14, the Crest High Chargers zip. We'll
In
be
all
back.
fairness, not an overmatched game.
No, and we'll be back in about 30 seconds for the kickoff. We're back here at Crest High Stadium. 14-0 is our score. 5:57 to go. As the Golden Lions kick to the Crest Chargers, Robert Crest has to score before halftime.
They really have to score before halftime. It could demoralize.
14-0 is our score right now. Hey, good run up the middle. Oh, gets out to
Good
the
effort.
42-yard line. That's tough running. And that was number 23. That's Ronald Ross for the Crest High Chargers.
I tell you, the important thing for Crest to realize is they're only 14 points behind in a game that still has 2.5 quarters to go. You can't panic. You can't be forced out of what was primarily your offensive scheme coming into the ball game. You've got to stick to the game plan. You've got to realize that you've got to make those points up, but you can't panic.
Ooh, a good stick by number 31, Keith Jolly again.
Boy, now, that's an excellent reception on Ross's part.
Yep.
2 men draped all over him, and he managed to pull it in.
I was really concerned about an interception again, Rob, to be honest with you.
Well, Upton has shown that he isn't afraid to throw it into coverage.
I like that, too. I like that about him.
Of course, Todd Ellis showed last year at South Carolina, and sometimes that gets you into a heap of trouble.
It's second down and a long 5 to go for the first down. It's really almost 6 yards for the Chargers. This time up the middle and a fumble on the play, Rob. I don't know who got it, but there was a fumble. The Lions say they have it, but let's wait and see what
Chargers
the
aren't
stripes
sure.
say.
Looks like the Chargers
Chargers remain with possession, I believe. We'll have to see it on instant replay, guys. If y'all will get it ready while the Zebras iron it out.
No decision made yet.
Seems to be a conference call here. I wonder if AT&T knows about this. And the Lions come off dejected, so it's going to be Crest ball. And it will be third down and about 2 yards
Really
to go.
expected to consult the instant replay official on that one.
Here's a replay. Let's see if we can tell from our angle.
Too many bodies.
Too many people floating around.
Of course, the Shelby athletes thought they had it.
And now my next question is, where have they spotted the ball?
Why spot the ball back at the original line of scrimmage?
Okay, I'm a little confused here.
Obviously, if Crest retained possession, then it would be closer to the 50-yard line.
Exactly right. And if they didn't,
If
it's
not, then
Shelby
it's
High
Shelby's
Golden
ball.
ball. Yeah, no question about it. They're going to have to come over here and explain it to Coach Stewart now. Now, while we've got just a moment, while they're deciphering everything, Rob, the second annual Mothers Against Drunk Drivers annual softball games, the Enforcers versus the Defenders. It'll be at Shelby High Veterans Stadium, 6:30 p.m. There'll be door prizes to precede the ball game, and all the proceeds of this goes to Mothers Against Drunk Drivers. Roman Gabriel's going to be there, perhaps some of the top of the day crowd. I don't understand this, Rob, at all. It's second down now.
What did they do? Second down.
What did they do? Just say, let's do it all over again?
Apparently.
Evidently so.
No apparent reason.
Evidently so. They said, well, yeah, we really don't know what happened, so let's try the same play again. Wow!
Boy,
did he
what a
fight
surge.
forward? Kenneth Ramsour says, boys, you're not going to stop me here. So it's going to be very close to the first down, third down. And matter of fact, they're going to bring the chain gang out. Now, Robert, explain that to me, how you can do the play over like that.
Never seen it happen before. Obviously, I think it's probably, and under the circumstances, if you're unable to make a decision as to where possession lies, the fairest thing to both teams would be to allow the play
It's first down for the Crest High Chargers
to be rerun. But I think, the umpires or the referee's responsibility is to be there to make that call, to determine which team has possession.
Of course, you have to admire them for saying, hey, guys, I don't really know what happened.
Well,
what have we got over here in the far corner, Rob? And Kelly Upton hands off up the middle again. Ramsour this time doesn't pick up nearly as much yardage.
look for that either to be motion or encroachment. It is motion.
Motion against the Chargers. They certainly did not need that.
Well, again, they really self-destructed on several drives. The 2 turnovers, of course, have been critical.
In the ball game, of course, the coaches call the games from the sideline. They're flip-flopping in. Scott Thomas comes into the ball game, tells Kelly Upton the play that Coach Stewart wants them to run. Ramsour comes out of the ball game. The Golden Lions, Johnny Brooks directing the defense. And Rob, it's first down and 15 yards to go. I think Kelly should open it up and maybe throw a pass.
Well, look for Upton to air it out this time.
Nope. A misdirection up the middle, and you open, and he is going to be gone unless Jeter can catch him. Jeter catches him on the 10-yard line. That is the first really good play of the night for the Chargers.
Number 22, Ronald Ross.
And let's look at that again on instant replay, Rob. The one man out there that could catch him caught him. Jermaine Jeter for the Golden Lions on the misdirection play. Now that should get Crest fired up. Here's a replay.
Block out here, broke it quickly, that first step, and he was...
There he goes, he's into the backfield. Now watch Jeter come over right here with the good angle, and bam! What good camera work, Rob.
Beautiful camera.
I love it. Oh, I love it.
Here we go, first and goal at the 8-yard line.
High school football at its best.
Crest really needs this score. You got to grind it out. You'd like to think that they keep the ball on the ground 3, possibly 4 plays.
And the only bad thing about this is Crest cannot get a first down.
Absolutely.
And
No, nothing
does
there.
not work. Number 82 was the ball
Almost a
carrier.
late hit.
That was Sean Goforth,
That's
the
a motion
ball
back
carrier.
again, taking the hand on. Didn't work that time.
It's going to be second down and goal to go. 2:11 to go, and they lost a little bit on that play, Rob.
We did lose about a yard.
Which, it's incidental here, but I believe I'd try one more play and then I'd flood a zone down there. Because I just don't
Nothing
think
there.
there's anything going to open up on this Lions defense.
It's back behind the 10-yard line now.
Kelly Upton calls timeout. I think what's going to have to be will be some type of play action pass.
Play action
Rob.
or an option keeper.
Yep. We've got 1:44 to go in the first half.
It's safe to assume that if Crest doesn't score here, for all intents and purposes, the game could be over there. They're not the sort of offense that can come back and put a lot of points on the board quickly. And in a game as emotional and as hotly contested as this one, you know, that could be the sort of thing that they really would not be able to overcome, I think, psychologically. So
I agree.
you know, I don't know what the kicking game is like for Crest, but I'd certainly like to think that Mike Stewart may realize, hey, we've got to put something on the board, so he may kick the ball.
Well, I'm going to step over right quick and ask Alan Ford if he knows what the deal was on that a minute ago.
Go back, you see the time, 1:44 left in the second quarter. Golden Lions have taken a 14-0 advantage over the host Crest High Chargers, primarily on the basis of 2 turnovers.
Okay, Rob, I've got the answer. Alan Ford said that what had happened, the referees ruled that they had an inadvertent whistle. They blew the whistle before the play had stopped. And so then they had to redo the play because the error was on the part of the officials. So, split wide, Brian Crocker and also Sean Goforth. And this is the ball game, Robert. Long count. Indicates a pass.
Upton's out.
Is he going to make it? Nope. And it's cut for a touchdown.
Yeah,
it is a touchdown. Was he past the line of scrimmage? Yes,
I think he was.
He was past the line of scrimmage.
I was afraid of that.
Okay. All right, you have to accept the penalty, right?
Well, that's loss of down.
Past the line of scrimmage, loss of down.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, let's see it again.
Line of scrimmage, I think, would have been the...
Well, they called it ineligible receiver downfield, I believe, maybe.
Well, you could have called either one, I believe.
I think he was across the line of scrimmage.
The 11-yard line would have been the line of scrimmage.
Way
past
inside
the
the 10. So now the refs are explaining the play.
And I think, obviously, the ineligible receivers down there were half the offensive line.
Yeah. So, 1:33, and basically Crest has squandered an opportunity. Now let's see if Coach Stewart is a gambler. What are we going to do? We're going to go for the field goal, or...
Well, I think you're so far away now, he probably doesn't have enough confidence in his field goal team to try to kick it from there, so you've got to try it one more time to put it in the end zone.
Going to go for a field goal. Number 98, Joey Peters, is going to be the holder. No, he's going to be the kicker. Josh Thomas is the holder. Not Josh Thomas. Scott Thomas is the holder for the Chargers, and it will be about a 23-yard attempt.
Well, Stewart taking the more conservative approach, realizing that he needs to put some points on the board.
And, of course, now last week in the Burns ball game, we did see a fake punt, but I don't think, a fake field goal attempt, but I don't think we'll see that this week. I didn't get here in time to see the pre-game festivities, so I don't know how he was booming them out. Jody, let's see how you do. It's long enough. It's dead right down the middle. It's good. They could have kicked that from 40 yards out.
An excellent kick.
1:28 to go. 14-3 is our score.
Well, that gets the Chargers on the board, and it really fires the fans up, fires the players up. They realize they're not facing a 14-0 deficit going in. Psychologically, that's probably the best thing in the world that could have happened to them aside from the touchdown.
Darrell Davis and Jeters are going to be deep for the Golden Lions. And, yeah,
it's important for Crest not to have a letdown here. You've got a minute 28 seconds. Shelby obviously has potential to break one long. They've really got to stay in there for the next minute 28 seconds. Regroup, take it in at halftime, and rethink and come out and execute and try to overcome those two turnovers.
You know, 3 points is kind of like kissing your sister. I mean, when you were excited about having really a touchdown, then you end up with 3 points. You know, not one of your better things. I believe something's going wrong with my headset. Guys in the booth, can y'all hear me? Okay. We're almost at halftime. And, you know, an onside attempt. Boy, that surprised me. But the Golden Lions and number 50, Dean Blanton, with some sure hands there. I don't know if anybody here expected that. I certainly didn't.
Didn't think about it at this juncture of the ball game. Really, Crest had nothing to lose by attempting the onside kick. Didn't pay off for them. They certainly didn't lose anything. And at least you don't have the possibility of Jermaine Jeter breaking one long on you. All in all, probably not a bad move.
If I was Shelby, I would air it out 3 downs. Throw it deep enough
Well,
where it can't
Jeffords
hurt
can
me.
throw the ball 65, 70 yards on the run, so I really
And
want
he
to put it
drops
up.
back. He's got a man breaking on the fly. It's going to be short. It's going to be intercepted. Nope. Now, yes. It was intercepted.
Beautiful effort over there.
Whoa, that was Tim Ray. 5'9", 170 pounds, senior defensive back for the
Well,
Chargers.
now things have really turned around now. 59 seconds. Crest with some sort of passing attack can move the ball back down and possibly score.
I'm glad to see Coach Taylor and I think alike. I'm in good company. 2 state 3A champions and first runner-up last year in the 3A championship race, and so we were thinking
Replay,
alike.
ball tipped initially.
Here we go. Let's see it now. Watch Tim Ray. Good presence of mind on this. Watch this. Tip, tip, catch.
Caught his own tip.
Yeah,
Really amazing.
that makes it. That's a nice play.
Got a penalty down. Oh, my goodness.
Okay, the penalty was against Crest. I missed that. Okay, it's the
Penalty
Shelby High
calling.
Golden
Oh,
Lions.
that must have been roughing the passer or some related penalty.
I did not see the
Boy,
play.
that's unfortunate.
We'll have to see that again on the
Missed
replay.
that completely.
So here again, I'm going to throw it again, Rob. That odd offensive set again, up the middle, number 33, Johnny Brooks. Guys, can we see the interception one more time, see if we can see
I
which
don't think we have a camera angle on the quarterback, but I'd like to see precisely what the penalty was.
Golden Lions call timeout. That was certainly a shocker for the Chargers and for
Boy,
everyone up here in the press booth. Okay, here's a replay again, Rob.
let's watch the quarterback, Paul Jeffords.
Uh-huh.
Oh,
At the
you can
ver-
see the player
yeah.
coming in at the very
At
end.
the very
yeah.
last, you could see there that good call on the part of the ref.
Unfortunate call for the Chargers, nonetheless. Timeout on the part of the Lions. Coach Jim Taylor possibly not satisfied with the 14-3 lead at halftime. Looking to put more points on the board.
And I don't blame him. I think this is a ball game that is still, pivotal as the outcome.
Sure.
But from those first 2 plays that the Golden Lions had, with the fumble recovery for the touchdown, then the interception for the touchdown, those are backbreakers, Rob. In the game that's been such a defensive struggle.
Really has. And aside from those 2 turnovers, those 2 mistakes on the part of the Chargers, it's been a pretty well executed ball game.
Rob, what kind of set would you call that?
That's just an eye back with a slot.
My goodness. If Jeffries had just waited 1 second longer, he had 2 men that were going to be off to the races for a touchdown. And to stop the clock with the incomplete pass, 39 seconds to go. And it's warm up here in the booth. Wonder what the temperature is down on the field.
It's got to be hot down there, but it's probably cooler than it is in the booth.
And again, this is Cleveland Community College telecommunications class students and instructors that are bringing you this broadcast on Vision Cable Channel 22. And the Lions throw the ball
Jeffords
again.
back
And catch and out of bounds with 34 seconds to go.
Stuart Story over there in the reception for the Lions. First time we called his number tonight.
And Stewart he's also a senior on this squad. 6'1", 165 pounds. And here again, it was a good pass.
Good pass, and the receiver managed to get out
Get
of
out of
bounds.
bounds.
Stop the
Right.
clock.
34 seconds, and I think the Golden Lions have 1 timeout remaining, if I'm not mistaken, which I would think they would want to use
Sure.
for the field goal attempt if possible.
Sure. That would really negate the fact that Crest had the field goal down here on this end.
It's 1st and 10 on the 29-yard line. He's back.
Jeffords back.
He's got a
Got
man
him
open
wide
in the
open.
end zone.
Oh,
it's a touchdown.
my goodness. Boy,
It's a touchdown, and that is
Mama
a
put the coffee
killer
on.
for the Crest High Chargers.
Well, we knew Shelby had the potential to do that, and I think Crest had just forgotten to respect that fact.
Here's a replay.
Receiver got behind him. That's a cardinal sin against any defensive back. He lost. That's Jermaine Jeter
Jermaine
apparently coming
Jeter.
out of the backfield, so he completely
just
lost
outran
coverage on him.
And Rob, Coach Taylor, really, he did exactly what I think he should have done.
59 seconds, move the ball down the field. Well, heck, he scored in 32 seconds.
And that's no good, I don't believe.
Nope,
It's not.
not
It's not
for
any good. So our score is 20-3 with 27 seconds to go. Friday night football is back, and we're back broadcasting and really excited about our season coming up. Try to get you a rundown of our schedule here in the second half. But this is our first broadcast. We'll do several football games from different county schools. We'll do Gardner-Webb. Then, of course, the basketball season. Next Thursday night, we do the Mothers Against Drunk Drivers. So there's a lot of exciting things coming up for the Cleveland Community College telecommunications program. But, Rob, I think the second half is not real promising for the Chargers right now.
Well, from a coaching standpoint, what you want to tell your players is, look, we're behind by 17 points. Almost exclusively because we've made 2 mistakes on defense. Sure, we gave up 1 touchdown legitimately, but we'd be right in this ball game if it hadn't been for the fact that we'd make those 2 mistakes. We've got to try to overcome those. We have some semblance of a passing attack. We can move the ball down the field quickly. We know that. We just got to go out and keep our heads up and attempt to move the ball quickly.
It is a high kick taken by Crest. They're up to the 42-yard line. Rob, are we going to air it out and go along with it?
Well, you don't really stand to lose anything.
Provided you do get it long.
Absolutely. And I haven't seen Upton really air it out. I know he's been pretty crisp on the short passes. We'll just have to see.
12 seconds. We're winding down. This is the final play of the first half. So he might. Oh, no. Draw play. Never make it. He paid dearly for it.
Even if you do fool 9 of the 12 or 9 of the 11 players out there, 2 guys are going to see it, and they're going to make the tackle eventually.
It's halftime from Crest High Stadium. Shelby High Golden Lions out to a commanding 20-3 lead. And we'll be back after halftime for the second half of the ball game. Bo Lovelace and Robert Callahan and the telecommunications class of Cleveland Community College.
Summer's here. Keep it a safe summer. Please, don't drink and drive.
When I was about 12 years old, folks had asked me what I wanted to do when I grew up. I'd always tell them I wanted to be a cowboy. Well, by the time I got to be a teenager, I'd changed that a little bit, and I decided I just wanted to have a ranch and have some horses. By the time I got out of high school, I'd pretty well forgotten about that dream. So what we're talking about here is how do you make dreams come true? And sometimes when we grow older, we forget about those dreams and just get involved in making a living every day. Cleveland Community College is a place that makes dreams come true. Whatever your dream is, don't let it die. Go to Cleveland Community College and find out how you can have a good career and how you can make the money that you need to take care of your family and to have the things that you want out of life. At Cleveland Community College, we make dreams come true, and we've got your number. It's 484-4000.
Bogey, this guy can fly. Okay, thanks. We got him on the Ross. He's trying to target us. Jam him. Okay, he fired. So did we. He's pulling a 7G turn out of here.
Space technology of the 21st century. It's here, now, in the Air Force. Aim high. Air Force.
to be great if they could come back and win this thing.
We're back for the second half of play from Crest High Charger Stadium. Chargers getting ready to come back on the field. The Golden Lions are already on their side of the field. Our score is 20-3. I'm Bo Lovelace along with Robert Callahan and the Cleveland Community College Teleproductions Department with Dan Morden at Male Campus and all the students here. We welcome you back for what we hope will be a competitive second half, Rob.
Well, I think it will be. I think Crest is anxious to prove themselves, really, not only to the Shelby fans and to the Crest fans, but also to themselves. They had a tough loss last week against Burns. They really need, well, I don't want to say they need to turn the thing around, but they certainly need to come out and play competitively and show themselves that they can compete against some of the better teams in the state. Shelby consistently one of the better teams in the state in 3A and probably could compete at a 4A level as well. So it's important now that Crest just come out and establish some sort of offensive continuity. They need to move the ball down the field. They need to get to first downs, and they need to move the ball in the end zone.
And starting the second half, it will be the Crest High Chargers that will be receiving the kickoff. We've got deep for the Chargers. Kenneth Ramseur will be one of the receivers, along with Byron Brown. Back deep for the Chargers. I can't make out the other person's number. Can't make it out from here, Rob.
To 24?
Possibly so. If it is, that's Byron Brown. Okay, the Golden Lions set to kick off, and we're underway again.
Deep kick.
12-yard line up the middle, and the wall breaks down at about the 30. Ball momentarily pops loose, but they've got back under control. So offensively, of course, the Chargers will be coming out with Kelly Upton at quarterback. We've got Brian Crocker, who will be a split wide receiver probably. Rob, last week against Burns, the Chargers opened up in the second half with more passing. What do you think?
Passed the ball a lot in the first half, though. I don't know. New Crest had some success passing, but obviously the one intercepted pass could have been the play that broke their back. It put them down 14-0, and it might have demoralized them a little bit. But I think they're forced into a circumstance where they have to play a wide open type offense, and that may mean incorporating the pass even more so into their game
And
plan.
here comes the pass, and it almost intercepted. I believe it was trapped. It was trapped.
Obviously.
Number 22, Darrell Davis, doesn't believe it for the Golden Lions.
Pretty good acting job on Davis's behalf.
Yeah. In the backfield to open up the second half was Scott Thomas and Ronald Ross. And now they'll flip-flop again. Coming into the ball game is Byron Brown as the plays are called in from the sideline.
Step up top.
It's 11-17. We're just underway, and welcome back to the second half in Crest High Stadium. This is Vision Cable Channel 22. Great night for football. So far, the Chargers have been on the short end of the score all night long. They opened up with the field goal, was all they've had, a three-point field goal. What a rush by the Lions!
And Upton had several receivers open downfield. Upton not one of your taller quarterbacks. And simply could not see those open receivers.
If we could see that again, gang, just a minute. If Kelly would have ducked and went under the rush, I believe he had enough time maybe to have gotten out of the pocket. But yeah, he's only a junior. Okay, now watch right here. He tried to duck under it, but then maybe it was wise that he did because there was two big Golden Lions fixing to pounce. It's third down, 15 yards to go for the first down. Again, back to pass. He's intended receiver was Ronald Ross.
I tell you, that's a problem with living and dying by the pass. So often you die by it because it forces you into really what becomes a sense of urgency. And with that, you tend to execute a little more poorly. You start off typically facing second and third down and long situations if you aren't successful. That forces you really into a panic type offense on your third downs, and really it just means that you've developed an entirely new outlook on the ball game.
Jermaine Jeter is deep for the Golden Lions. Punts away. Flags everywhere. And this time Jeter lets it roll dead at the 33-yard line. Flag is going to be...
It's offsides against the Golden Lions. We'll see what the call is.
I think it's either that or we've got a procedure penalty.
Against the Chargers.
They had an extra man on the field.
Not quite what they'd intended.
So probably
Shelby looking for another super field position this time.
Yeah, let him punt it again. Let Jeter maybe get his hands on the ball. And you know he's averaging what, 15 yards every time he puts his hands on the ball on the return. So now it's 4th down, 20 yards to go. The ball is spotted.
And here, too, you have to worry about the blocked punt.
That's right, and they've been close every time. The ball spotted way back on the 20-yard line. Who is a punter for Crest, Rob? Is that 58? Is
number.
58 maybe? I can't make it out from our angle.
On the depth chart.
Oh,
boy, here's the block.
Oh, yeah. Fair catch called. It's going to be Crest ball.
It's going to be Crest ball. Now that.
A mistake on the part of the Lions.
Probably the silliest thing in the world for a receiver to do.
It's going to be Crest High Chargers ball on the 33-yard line. And let's see that on instant replay again. He called a fair catch. He muffed it. They gave him his 3 yards to attempt to catch the ball.
Well, really, under that circumstance, you've got to get as far away from the ball as possible. You don't want to try to suck the ball in because...
Okay, watch this.
Partial block.
Calls for the fair catch.
Just could not come up with it.
And a big break for the Chargers here. 9:56 to go in the 3rd period. And there's timeout, an injury timeout. We won't speculate at this time who the player is. While we do have a break in the field, let's take a break in the action, and we'll be back in about 30 seconds or so.
For 1.7 million North Carolinians, not being able to read or read well means not being able to follow road maps, find out what's on TV, keep up with the world, order from a menu, find a job in the classifieds, or fill out a job application. But it's never too late to learn to read. Anyone who tells them any different is feeding them a lot of garbage. That's why Cleveland Community College is asking you to tell someone you know who can't read to visit us. Our instructors are ready and waiting to teach, encourage, and help them. And it's free for the asking.
A long time ago, my daddy told me to stay away from 3 things: fast cars, sweet-talking men, and cigarettes.
I said, honey, I quit smoking when I found out it was dangerous. And even then, it was tough to quit. So I said, be smart. Don't start.
Well, my daddy convinced me. I stayed away from cigarettes.
Now, what about those fast cars and sweet-talking men? What about them?
We're back at Crest Stadium. Right there is a great shot of one of the handheld cameras that the communications department puts on. That's a good shot of our crowd. Still a capacity crowd here, Robert. We're going to be a while getting out of here.
Well, I think if you see the score still on the board around the end of the 3rd, maybe the beginning of the 4th period, you'll start seeing a lot of these Crest Charger fans clear out. Obviously, the Shelby High proponents would like to stick around as long as possible and enjoy what could be a big win for them.
The injured player was Tim Ray. He's coming off the field under his own power a bit gingerly, but seems to be okay. I don't think it's a serious injury in any way.
Probably had his bell wrong.
So that's very, very good news. You never, ever want to see a player down.
Good chance Ray might have been the one to recover the fumble, and it might have just been falling on.
Or jumped on, or anything. It's 1st and 10 for the Crest High Chargers, 33-yard line. In the backfield, we've got Scott Thomas. And I'd look for maybe to go to Scott a little bit. Scott's got some good speed to get outside. There's Scott. And he does battle his way almost to the 1st down.
Good.
Did I call it or what? Scott Thomas.
Football genius you are. And that's the first time really that off-tackle play has worked since that 1st series. So, you know, maybe Crest is going to go back to a little more run-oriented with a spice of pass type offense. There's still a lot of time left. We're still talking about 9 minutes into the 3rd period. Full 12 minutes in the 4th to go. So we've got 21 minutes plus football to play.
Ronald Ross in the backfield now. We've got Brian Crocker on the sideline. Coming in motion is Josh Thomas. And this time, nothing doing.
Well, Upton came on.
Well, he certainly fooled me. I thought Ronald Ross had the ball. It'll be 1st down, Chargers.
Good fake on his part. Showing good poise out there in the option.
Defensively, the Golden Lions are, like you said in the 1st half, they're not tremendously big as we've been accustomed to, but they are quick. They're well coached. Coach Taylor, let's see, last year Clifford Wilson was the defensive coordinator. I believe this year, I'm not sure who the defensive coordinator is for the Lions. Pass wide open is Brian Crocker, immediately taken down by a Golden Lion.
Well, that's the sort of pass that could be effective all night for an offense like Crest. You get the receiver out in the deep flat and really just kind of flick it out to him. Upton has shown that he has the ability to make that pass consistently. I think if the receivers can just pull the ball in and make the catch, then they can really turn things around with that type of offense.
Exactly so. Split wide is number 82 for the Chargers. That's Sean Goforth. And also, I believe Josh Thomas is tight end on this side. He's a tight end for the Chargers. And up the middle, no, keeper by Kelly, and he's going to have the first down. It'll be first down again for the Chargers. That's 3 first downs in a row. We haven't seen that all season.
Moving the ball well.
Ball on the line, 44.
7:28 to go, the third period of play here at Crest High Charger Stadium.
Chewing up a lot of clock, though.
There's not a breath of air stirring down on the field. The flag is completely still. So for a passer, conditions are ideal tonight.
Absolutely.
Play was a little bit slow developing, but they're going to get outside. He's going to have a first down. He's got 2 men to beat. He's not going to beat Jeter. Jeter was in on the stop. That was Ronald Ross for the Crest High Chargers picking up good
First
yardage.
tonight, Upton has chosen to pitch out on the option keeper. I really thought he was going to take it in himself. Did pitch out.
Fellas, if we can see that again, that may have been Kenneth Ramseur. Good shot at the defensive unit for the Golden Lions. Here we go on our replay.
Number 23.
Okay, it was Ramseur. Ramseur picking up yardage. Back to live action on the field. Again, little misdirection play. This time to Ronald Ross. It's going to be second down and about 5 yards to go for the first down. 6:15 to go, third quarter. Time is going to become a factor in this ball game, Robert.
Time moving down, almost to 6 minutes. Chargers know they need to score. Obviously, this is a sort of game plan I think that they probably had intended to implement when they first came out. It's fine, I think, now. You really aren't forced into the desperation type circumstance. But you've got to start thinking that time is becoming of the essence, and you've got to move it in as quickly as possible.
This time up the middle. It's going to be, I believe, still just short of the first down, Rob.
First. That's number 33 over there, Johnny Brooks on the stump. He called his name a lot tonight.
Johnny Brooks is a tough, hard-nosed athlete. Well, it is a first down. It's going to be first down and goal to go. The Crest High
Chargers. As far away
Chargers.
as you can be without being in.
And it's still 5:22 to go in the third period. For Crest to realistically look at pulling this game out, they're going to need to score right now with a touchdown. Certainly the fans are starting to whoop it up just a little bit.
Yep.
This time Upton gets almost to the 5-yard line.
Maybe a good time to pitch out, but Upton chose to keep it a little safer.
Well, that's right. When you get down that close, you just don't want to do this. You want to.
I'll tell you, one of the best option quarterbacks played against was Jeff Williams at South Point. And I remember distinctly defending him one time on a play similar to that. The man was almost on the ground and managed to toss the ball back up into the option back's hands, and of course they went on to score.
This time up the middle to Scott Thomas. He's in for the score. That's 7 points. 6 points.
That'll excite the crowd.
That was Scott Thomas carrying it in for the Crest High Chargers.
Well, I don't know what Mike Stewart said at halftime, but it must have worked.
Now, let's see. Do you think they'll go for 2?
Yeah, you'd have to get for the extra point.
Here's a shot. Good, tough, hard running on the part of Scott Thomas.
He really just bulled his way in there for that score. No, I think you have to kick it here.
Go for the extra point here, you'll be down 10 points with almost a quarter and a half to play.
Plenty of time. And the key that time, I think, was the fact that Crest didn't hurt themselves in any way.
It is a fake. Scott Thomas trying to get around outside. He's going to get in. Yes, yes.
Wow. Fooled me.
So the score now 20-11. Crest High
Well, that
showing
looks
some
even more
savvy
appealing
here.
now from a Charger standpoint.
Here's a replay of it. I really
just gets in.
I really didn't think he had the speed to get around that corner, but he did. Okay, now this is a sustained drive by the Chargers. The Golden Lions now will be
an obvious understatement would be to say that Crest really needs a defensive surge this time. I think it's imperative that they stop Shelby as quickly as possible, get the ball back, move it down again quickly, score again, and then you're really back to almost an equal circumstance because a score and another two-point conversion will make it a 2019 ball game. A field goal either way could win the ball game for you.
Deep for the Golden Lions is, of course, Jermaine Jeter and Darrell Davis. Crest High Chargers will be kicking off to them deep. They'll be standing down about on the 10-yard line. And, you know, if truth holds to form, we're looking at them getting field position in, say, the 25-yard range, probably. And then they've got a long way to go, so the Chargers really should hold them at this point. Momentum, Big Mo right now is on the side of the Chargers.
And you look for something pivotal really to happen on either side of the ball. I think if Crest is going to come back in this ball game, they need a big play defensively. If Shelby could maintain the surge.
And he stopped at the 28-yard line.
Maybe that's an omen. That's a poorest field possession they've had all night.
Paul Jeffers will come out, of course, at quarterback to start the second half. The backfield, there's no doubt, will be Jermaine Jeter and Johnny Brooks alternating plays in from the Golden Lions. Head coach Taylor to the Lions.
I look for
Coach Stewart.
Look for Paul Jeffers to bring it out and put it up. I think he realizes that's the sort of offense that's going to be successful against Crest.
Crest was a little late getting their defense set there for a moment. It's a fumble on the play, and it is recovered by Crest.
Just as quickly, things have switched momentum.
Recovered by Crest. Let's see who that is. I believe that's Scott Thomas again with the recovery. Let's see that again. See that again. See if Scott Thomas is the one who recovered it. Brady Seven there. Craig King shaking up on a play. Looks like maybe a shoulder jump. Here we go. Let's see who recovers this.
That is Thomas.
It is Thomas.
Didn't really see where King was shaking up.
Okay, don't waste your time out, Chargers. Oh my goodness, what a bad mistake on the Chargers'
Well, as we
part.
mentioned earlier, it's early in the season. Make a lot of mistakes. The mark of a great team is being able to overcome those mistakes.
But that's just foolish. You know, the Golden Lions showing more savvy at this point, I would say, Robert. Okay, we've got 3:38 to go. The score is 20-11.
Well, like I said before that series began, you know, the one pivotal point could be the fact that one team, either way, could get that little break in their favor that would turn the game around. Crest, obviously, if they were able to move the ball in this time and even kick the PAT, are only one field goal behind. So, you know, as quickly as the game really seemed to break open in the first half with a 14-0 lead on the verge of the two turnovers, we're looking at Crest being able to come back.
I don't think Coach Stewart can be at all pleased with
the execution on that one. I agree with you there.
Yeah, that's
the lack of execution.
Yeah, maybe that's a better word.
Here we go.
3:38 to go. Lots of time. Kelly Upton, quarterback. Thomas goes in motion. And we've got movement by the Chargers.
He hates himself.
Number 67, Bobby Lovelace.
Well, that's two quick mistakes on the part of the Chargers. starting up in a hole with one less time off.
You never ever like to see a team have to use their timeouts in the third quarter.
And you don't like to see a team move away from the opponent's end.
Because just as quickly as momentum can shift to one side, it can shift to the
Now,
other
from
side.
Shelby's standpoint, you're looking at a team that was facing what seemed to be an insurmountable lead. Now saying, well, you know, it's not quite as comfortable, but we've got to suck it up and we've got to play tougher defensively.
This time, the handoff to Ronald Ross.
It's back about 3 of those lost yards.
Coming in the ball game, Dennis Terry, number 77 for the Chargers. He's 6 foot, 200 pounds. He's also a senior. And then, of course, Brian Crocker coming back in, bringing the play into Kelly Upton. Anytime
Second and 12. Shelby has a good defensive backfield. It makes it tough to pass
certainly
against a speedy.
Well, you've got Jeter playing deep center field for you.
Sure.
He's probably, I would imagine, the fastest man on the field. This time it's a pass.
Uh-oh.
Man is open. And he comes down with
caught it.
But it's still going to be short of the first down.
That's impressive, though.
Okay, let's see
well,
that
it's close.
again.
It depends upon the spot. That may be the first down.
I think he's still going to be about a half a yard short.
We're going to call for the chains.
Let's see that on instant replay. That was a catch worth seeing again. Well, we do have an official timeout.
How did he bring that one down? And more importantly, how did the defenders miss it?
There you go. Up.
Depending upon the spot. It is a first down.
So the Crest High Chargers showing some intestinal fortitude here, for lack of a better word, as they, here again, it's going to be first and goal.
And importantly,
they can
as
get the
opposed
first
to last
down.
time, they can't get the first down.
They can't
They would have to get really inside the 1 yard line.
So this is a very important play, or series of downs for the Chargers. And just as important for the Golden Lions, with a big defensive stand, the Lions can certainly... Oh, Kelly passing off. Oh, a good defensive play
Good defensive
made
effort
by
back there. Was that number 22?
22, I believe. If it is, that's Davis.
Yeah, that's Darrell Davis. We've
Darrell
got his name
Davis.
several times tonight. He's quick out there in the corner.
Certainly is. That play looked like it was developing more than it did, and that he'd come in and made the difference.
Going to bring second and 9. Didn't make quite as many yards as I thought.
It looked like he was going to make the move there, and just did not develop.
Second 9 for first down. Obviously about second 9 and a half for touchdown.
Okay, Upton in the end zone. There's a flag on the play, and the flag, I believe, is going to be against the Chargers.
Maybe a clip. Too early to celebrate.
Okay, the call is going to go against Crest. I see it on instant replay. See if we can pick it up. I saw it just after the flag was thrown.
Oh, that's unfortunate for the Chargers.
Okay, let's see. It should come right at the end of the play.
Flip
About
call.
right here. Okay, right there it was. Right there, number 2. Brian Crocker.
And I said, if Crest could execute flawlessly, they could really turn things around. But boy, that one mistake could come back to haunt you. Brings up second about 15, 16.
Long way to
Crest
go
put it in
now.
the air this time.
Second down. And, you know, how many times can, let's say, Shelby dodge the bullet, and how many times can Crest load the gun?
That's a good point.
Because that was definitely a dodging of the bullet, but can Crest load the gun again? Okay, this time wide open to Crocker.
Gets back a lot of the yards they lost.
Gets back close to
the 7 yard line.
Spotted it on the 6, Rob.
On the 6?
6-yard line.
I think of about 3rd and 6 then, the first down. I gotta think you're in 2-down territory here.
I do too, I agree.
3rd and 4th. I mean, field goal's not really gonna help you any.
especially with a minute 13 to go.
Psychologically, it's certainly not going to help you any.
We've certainly seen a different group of Crest High Chargers coming out.
Completely different. They've just really taken over the ball game here in the second half.
Fans are on their feet here at Crest Stadium on both sides. Kelly, oh, should be pass interference possibly.
Probably a good no call.
Yeah.
I think maybe incidental contact, because I'm not sure if he had an opportunity to catch it or not.
Let's see that
Bringing
again
a kicking
on
team in
replay.
again. I got to question that.
Let's see that again here and see what it looks like.
Stewart's choosing the 3 this time. You know, my philosophy is, heck, this may be the last time you're going to get close. To the replay.
Okay, here's our replay.
And the offensive player might have initiated that contact as much as the defensive player.
I believe you're correct. Do we have timeout on the again? Equipment timeout. 51 seconds to go, third quarter. We hate to keep saying this is critical, but this is crunch time here.
Well, this would bring the Chargers to within 6 points.
We'll let the crowd tell you what happens.
It's up and good.
Hear that crowd, it is good.
20-14.
That makes this ball game a
whole new ball game.
A lot closer. Oh, Rob, I think we need to take a timeout here. This is Vision Cable Channel 22 in the Cleveland Community College Teleproductions Department. And we'll be back for the kickoff.
Sherry Haynes is getting ready to go to her family reunion. Everyone is waiting for her there. They're all gathered together. For Sherry's family reunion, she doesn't have to worry about bringing any gifts. It doesn't even matter if she's late. For Sherry, because of a drunk driver, family reunions will never be the same.
We're back live. Jeter gets to the outside before he is swarmed under by a host of Chargers, and Cliff Vineset defends him in for the Chargers. Makes a good stop.
Well, again, Jeter unable to get out of the corner like he did effectively in that first half. Crest, I think, pursuing from the corners in on him this time. Well, from the Shelby standpoint now, you've got to move the ball effectively. You've got to eat that clock up. You've got to establish momentum again on your side. Crest looking for another big turnover, or at least another defensive effort.
Here again, there's only 24 seconds to go. Ball carrier was Darrell Davis, and he picks up 2 tough yards. I believe that's going to be the last play of the third period.
Probably going to take us down to the fourth.
12 more minutes of playing time for the Chargers to come back, or the Lions to hold them off. And that's it. That winds down the third period of a game that has been much more exciting in the second half. 20-14, and we'll be back in just a moment.
You know, it's pretty handy to be able to do a little bit of welding, because there's always something around here that needs fixing, and I just don't know what I'd do if I didn't know how to weld. But this is not the kind of welding I do every day. I weld for a living. The welding I do is a whole lot more sophisticated, and the machinery is a whole lot different than this one here. But I've enjoyed that. I've got a good job. I've got good benefits. I like what I do, and I'm able to make a good living. If you're not doing what you want to do, and you feel like it's time to make a change, I don't know if welding would be for you. There may be something else. But I've got your number, and that number is 484-4000 at Cleveland Community College. And I think they can help you realize the kind of career that you want, so you can find job satisfaction and enjoy getting up and going to work every day.
We're back to live action. And the Golden Lions are swarmed under. The ball carrier was number 23.
Boy, that time, Scott Thomas and a host of other Chargers right on top of the play. The pursuit again.
Beg your pardon, that was 33. Johnny Brooks, the ball
Lions have
carrier.
gone conservative on us.
No, it's going to be third down in about 6
That's the
yards
problem
to
with
go.
taking a big lead and a half from them. You know, obviously from a coaching standpoint, it's probably much worse than being behind because you're saying to yourself, we've got to protect this lead, we've got to protect this lead. We don't want to make the foolish mistakes and turn the game over to the other team. And you become a little too complacent.
Jeffries backs the pass. He's got a man open. He's got the first down.
Pass out there.
And this was Tim Ray playing. He was playing off him quite a bit there, Rob. But
well, maybe a little bit too much for cushion. But I think you have to credit Jeff at that time with an excellent pass out there.
Right, and of course, you know, you think which is better, giving up the 6 points or the first down right now. Because right now, there's plenty of time still left in the ball game.
Lots of time left, and
lots of time for both teams, of course. We know Shelby has a potent offense. This time, Jeter is, boy, he is such a quick. His execution on that play was superb.
I think he's probably pushed down at about the 49-yard line, give the gain of about 6.
No, it's only going to spot it at the 47-yard
gain. You know, Jeter is a smaller back, has excellent balance, he's close to the field, has that low center of gravity, powerful lower legs, an excellent high school back.
This time up the middle, big hole for number 33, Johnny Brooks, and he took very good advantage of it.
Brian Crocker down the other stop, and only had the Brooks pick up about 14 yards.
And Crest calls timeout again. 11:02 to go in the fourth and final period of play. We'll be back in 30 seconds at Crest High Stadium.
Before people dominated the earth, wildlife was abundant. Only one species was lost every 1,000 years. Now we are losing one species every day. If nothing is done to prevent an increasing extinction rate, several thousand species will be lost each year by 1990. If the earth becomes unfit for wildlife, will it also become unfit for human life? Help North Carolina's endangered species by giving to the Non-Game and Endangered Wildlife Fund on your state tax form.
Back at Crest High Stadium, where our score is Shelby High Golden Lions 20, the Crest High Chargers 14. Crest just used another timeout. That means they have one timeout left, correct?
One timeout left. A good defensive timeout, possibly. Shelby getting a little momentum, moving the ball effectively. Not a bad timeout. Time left. The clock really won't become a factor until it gets down to about 5 minutes, so probably a smart timeout on his part.
Jeffries is a tall quarterback where he can look over the defense and see what's going. This time up the middle to Brooks. Brooks breaks ahead for several good yards.
Well, the offensive line surging ahead, seem to be taking charge of the line of scrimmage.
And earlier in the first half, Robert, I mentioned about the Burns-Shelby game being next week. And I am wrong about that. It is not. It's the week after that. September 22nd, Shelby at Burns. And I believe we'll be doing that game, correct?
Shelby Burns ball game, I believe we have been informed we will be
and that is
broadcasting.
week after next. Our broadcast schedule for this game and this week is at 8 o'clock on Monday and Wednesday. And thereafter, it will be at 7 p.m. on Monday and Wednesday. So a lot of people set their VCRs and they can tape their kids. We've got an equipment timeout momentarily. But this game has certainly ended up a lot better as far as the competition is concerned than we anticipated. And also, still the crowd is not in this game as much as I thought they would be.
You know, it's difficult to
this
determine
time the
being this far
option,
up.
and Davis is driven out of bounds, and
I don't think
he
he
did
got
not get
the
the
line of
first down.
Maybe a gain of half a yard at the very most.
So it's going to be third down now.
Good pursuit over there. Lions strong enough to move the ball up the middle of the field. I don't really expect to see anything fancy here. Third and about 3.
10-16. fourth quarter. 20-14 is the score. This has been one more exciting ball game.
You know, it's been a much longer second half than that first one. I think obviously because we've thrown the ball more, clock has stopped more often for movement of the chains.
This time up the middle for the first down.
Brooks just powers ahead for the first.
And it is a first down for the Shelby High Golden Lions. It'll be first down from about the 22-yard line, 21.5-yard line.
Defense really needs a surge here.
Chris Hughes coming into the ball game for the Golden Lions.
I tell you, it's at this point in the ball game when you've got to establish yourself one way or the other.
This time it goes to Davis. Davis gets some yardage, but they were tough yardage. And time is definitely becoming a factor in this ball game. This has been a very timely drive for the Golden Lions. Usually quite a few minutes on the clock.
He's up over 3.5 minutes already. Still in the process of moving the clock.
9:26 to go. The ball, second down and about 6 yards to go. Golden Lions have a split wide receiver. Pass out to Jeter, and he is going to be stacked up. There's a fumble. Did Crest recover? We'll have to wait and see. There's no indication. I think the ball went out of bounds before the Crest player jumped on it.
Jeter picked up about 3. Again, another 3rd and 3. Or a long 3.
And we've got an injured player.
Down out there?
Is Thomas down?
Uh-oh.
I'll try to see what we can see here with the, they are working with his leg, but I can't tell if it's has more of an appearance of possibly a cramp. We won't speculate.
Oh, a lot of problem with cramps tonight.
Humidity is awfully high.
You don't get those fluids in before the ball game. Get the sodium content build up in the bloodstream. You can face awful cramps.
Well, we've got a break in the action. Late registration at Cleveland Community College is September 11th through the 15th. Or as Kyron Packard says in the promos, Cleveland Technical Community College. And we've got your number, 484-4000. So, also there's ads on ESPN right now for Cleveland Community College. And Scott Thomas is up, we're happy to say, and he's gingerly coming off the field, and I believe it is cramps, rather.
Yeah.
Don't forget the second annual Mothers Against Drunk Drivers softball game, the Enforcers versus the Defenders, is Thursday night, 6:30 p.m. at Shelby High Veterans Stadium. Roman Gabriel will be there, and my wife has already told me that she will have her picture taken with Roman Gabriel or else. So that's there. Cleveland Community College graduation highlights will be 7 p.m. Monday and Wednesday. That's the 11th and 13th. Our game follows immediately after that at 8 p.m. And then every week thereafter, our highlight games will be at 7 p.m. on Monday and Wednesday evenings. Third down. I think if Crest can stop them here, they're going to have to go. The Lions will go for the field goal.
Sure.
But it's going to be tough either
Shelby
way.
standpoint, you don't want to turn the ball over.
There it is. Just gave him the first down. Coach
Handed
Stewart
it right to him.
is furious because that handed the Golden Lions a first down.
Well, that will break your back every time.
Oh, there's no doubt about it.
Going to give Shelby first and goal at about the 9-yard line.
And the critical part of this is even if they don't get the touchdown, but get the field goal,
Much easier.
that puts you 2 scores away from a victory if you're a Crest High Charger fan. Or if you're a Golden Lions fan, it puts you more in the driver's seat than you were to start with. He's got him. Oh, Jeter had it in his hand.
And he had a step on the defender.
I think Jeter can get a step on somebody about any time he wants to.
Well, that could have been the straw that broke the camel's back.
9:03 to go. Our score is 20-14, and let's see here. Let me check the sidelines. Scott Thomas is okay. It is cramps. So I want to pass that bit of information along to you. Up the middle this time, it's going to be, if it's not a touchdown, it is very, very close.
Power running.
The ball carrier, number 33.
Ross again.
That's Johnny Brooks.
I'm sorry, Brooks.
And I think this is the killer drive right here.
Could be it. Could be the nail in the coffin. Chargers really need to hold them here.
I would be a bit surprised Jeffries this time just the quarterback sneak over the center.
It's a big back. He could probably get it in there pretty easily.
That is, here it is. That's a touchdown. That makes our score 26-14. The Golden Lions back out with 8:23 to go. We could almost say a commanding lead.
Boy, that was a character-building drive on the part of the Shelby High Golden Lions. They needed that. They needed to establish something offensively. They needed to grind some clock and wind the clock down. They did. They did exactly what they had to do, I think, to win in a football game like this.
And like we said at the start of the game, both these teams were coming off losses last week. Crest lost to Burns, and Shelby lost to Hunter Husk. And the extra point is no good.
Kenny Bowling having a tough time back there tonight.
But both these teams are really getting ready to go into their conference play. Shelby has an off week next week, I believe.
Shelby plays out of the conference against Hickory next Friday, and then Shelby has Kings Mountain next week out of the conference. And then I believe the week after that they'll begin their season as far as conference play goes at West Mecklenburg.
So this right here certainly I think would put the Golden Lions into a good stead. But week after next, September 22nd, which we will broadcast the game, we'll be looking at the Golden Lions and the Burns High Bulldogs.
Gotta be another barn burner.
Byron Brown, Ronald Ross, Tim Johnson, charge.
And I think I'll step over here in just a moment and see if they've got any scores from the Burns game yet.
Burns, of course, playing East Burke tonight. Here's the kickoff. Momentarily bobble. Number 34, Tim Johnson, ripped down that time by number 81, Sheldon Johnson. Chargers going to take over about the 26-yard line. 8 minutes, 11 seconds, clock winding. Crest needs to score quickly here.
And I think they're going to try to do it in the air, and that went straight through the hands of Brian Crocker.
Boy, Upton has had more dropped passes than on the part of his receivers.
I think one thing that we tend to forget of the Crest High Chargers is, Kelly Upton's a junior.
Just a junior.
And he's going against the Golden Lions, went against Burns last week, which is a very seasoned club. Going against the Golden Lions this week, which are, they're probably not as veterans as we're usually accustomed to, but they are always a well-coached ball club.
Traditionally a well-coached ball team, always fast.
And a fundamentally strong team, always. Number 34 for the Chargers, Tim Johnson.
Johnson showing the quick feet.
He was they had two people in that area. He was the short back. And that did
third and about 4.
4 when you need 40 right now.
Absolutely.
26-14, 7.
I'd say Crest has to score by the 5-minute mark in order to have any chance of coming back in this one.
I believe you're correct. And Robert, some of the fans are starting to leave.
Starting to trickle out.
This time pass was to Brian Crocker.
Boy, that's 2 of the Crockers dropped in the past series.
Kelly Upton can certainly not be faulted with the passing effort.
That's going to bring up 4th and about 4. Obviously, the Chargers facing a funny circumstance being in this sort of Jeter's back. Look for him to break another one long.
Jeter is always going to be a threat. He drops back about 33-yard line. Last time you remember, the punt was partially blocked, and then Crest fortunately recovered.
Possible fake here. Nope.
Nope. Flags everywhere.
Probably procedure penalty.
And the ball's going to go out of bounds at the 32-yard line. So we'll see what that procedure penalty, just as you called it, against the Chargers.
Well, the problem is you got the kids moving prior to the snap like that. Almost invariably, they aren't going to get set before the ball is snapped because it's difficult to coordinate the movement with the call of the up back.
So that's going to back Crest up 5 more yards. It's going to be put him punting at about the probably about the 20-yard line. Jeter moves up 10 yards also. And it's a tough battle right now. Certainly he wants to get off a high punt for the coverage, but he wants it deep. This time the punt's away. It's not very high, but depends on what kind of roll he gets.
Makes a good Crest bounce.
And Jeter wisely moves away from it. Ball's going to be spotted on the 27-yard line.
This is it. Crest really needs a turnover here in order to turn things around.
I think with looking at 26-14, 6:37, if I was the Golden Lions, I'd try to grind it out. I don't think I'd even try any kind of fancy razzle-dazzle, no pass, no nothing. Just grind it out. Go from Brooks to Jeter to Davis.
And Crest, of course, with the reality they have only one timeout left.
This time he's in the second back. Who was that on the top of it? Bulldog, come here, Rob.
Is it number 78 for the Chargers? Joe Chambers, we'll check the number. Yeah, that is Chambers again.
I believe 51 also in on there, Chad Taylor.
No gain on the play, second down, 10.
Chad is 5'11", 190 pounds. He's a junior. This lineup is dotted with juniors.
Well, Crest is, and you hear the term all the time, a rebuilding program this year for the most part. They did lose last year, talked last year.
And we've got whistles and flags, and Darrell Davis was the ball carrier.
It'll be a push from the field. It's part of the line. Procedure penalty. Go back to 5. Stop the clock. More important from the Chargers.
Second down and 15 yards to go for the first down. Jeffries is going to put it up in the air. It's complete. It's going to be short of the first down.
81 Sheldon Thompson out there in the reception. Short of the first, as you call it, by about 5 yards.
Coach Taylor showing the ability to mix it up just a little bit, because I certainly didn't think they would risk a pass, even though they were backed up that far.
Well, I think the problem is you're forced to punt deep in your own territory. And Crest, excellent field position with almost 5 minutes left on the clock. So it's probably not a bad call on the other part.
We had motion in the backfield. We've got a fumble. Crest recovers, I believe. We'll have to see where they spot it. But I do believe the Chris High Chargers have recovered. Let's see the replay.
35 seconds left, 12-point deficit. They've got to score quickly.
And then go, I would think, go for the onside kick. Let's see the instant replay on that. Possibly we can see exactly what happened.
It's the rope play.
Okay, the back left just a split second early before Jeffries was ready. They split wide with Brian Crocker. In the backfield, Ronald Ross. Josh Thomas comes in motion, and friends, this is the ball game right here. Crest, whoa! Crest very lucky to get that back. Ball popped out, quickly scooped back
Pull it
in.
out quickly. Time is running down. Time is of the essence now. With only one timeout left. Can't afford to run the ball too often.
6 yards on the play, second down 4.
And one thing about it, as long as you're running the ball, the clock does not stop after each play. At least with an incomplete pass, it does stop.
Upton facing second, about 4.
This time he passes, Crocker catches. Oh, and it's going to be a touchdown. Beautiful. Ronald Ross takes it in.
I
Wow.
wonder if that was planned.
I don't know, but it certainly was. Kelly Upton. Let's see this again. To Brian Crocker, and then Brian Crocker flipped it back to Ronald Ross, and Ross in for the touchdown.
That worked too perfectly.
Let's see this again. This time he passes, Crocker catches. Oh, and it's going to be a touchdown. Ronald Ross takes it in. Wow.
I wonder if that was planned. You can kick. You're only 6 points behind. It's really irrelevant now. You're still going to have a touchdown.
All right, now here's the next question. Are you going to do an onside kick?
You got 3 minutes and 29 seconds left.
But one timeout's all you got.
A lot of time, though.
Oh, my goodness. Of course, it made no difference. The bad
next
snap
will be extremely credible.
Okay, let's play coach. What's our decision, Robert?
I've got 3 minutes and 29 seconds with the team that's playing pretty well defensively. I'm going to go ahead and kick it away. I'm not going to kick it high so that Jeter has any chance for a return. I'm going to kick it on the square, but I'm not going to risk turning it over to Shelby on a 45, 50 yards. I think everybody in the stadium's probably thinking onside kick now, but I think it's a wrong move from a coaching standpoint.
I don't know, Rob.
I'd say in this game, if you're 2 minutes or less, it's fine to kick it away because obviously you have nothing to lose. But here, good defensive surge. Obviously, Shelby's probably only going to enjoy field position from the 25 or 30-yard line. You've got 3 whole minutes to force him to turn that ball over. You're going to get them the first down anyway, but it's relevant where they take field position.
It depends on how much confidence I've got in my kicker getting it deep.
I think he's going to kick it away. They got this side of the line stacked. I mean, it may be onside kick.
I'm going to go for the onside kick, Rob. I really would if I was the coach. Let's see what happens. It is the onside kick. Goes out of bounds, so back up 5 yards.
Kick it again.
And then it has to go 15 yards.
10 yards.
10? Okay. So there you have it.
Well, let's see if he tries it again.
I think now you're going to... Is it not? I think you're going to have to kick it away this time.
Well, I don't think that we're going to surprise anybody that time with the onside kick, so it's not as though surprise was of the essence.
Shelby has declined it. Shelby's going to take the ball right there.
I thought it was an automatic acceptance.
Evidently not. A delay of game, and it's declined. It's 1st and 10 for the Golden Lions at the 39-yard line.
Well, obviously a smart coaching move.
Certainly.
And 29 left. It's still a matter of whether or not the Chargers can stop it.
The Chargers stop them.
Well, not this time.
No. And I don't think they can keep from getting a first down, Robert.
Boy. Johnny Brooks has been all over the Chargers tonight.
Got an injured player down on the field again. It may be cramps, but we'll not speculate.
Looks like cramps again. 2 players down.
2 players down. That was some hard running on the part of Johnny Brooks. He was just going in there just as hard as he could go. 3:20 to go. 26-20 is the score, and the Lions only need a yard and about a foot to have a first down. And if they have 2 first downs, the game is over irregardless of what happens.
Have you ever noticed, and I don't say this to imply anything, but traditionally, only one team will experience problem with cramps. Have you noticed that? I wonder if it's just a matter of the way they prepare the players, or if it's just that that a small injury can, by the power of suggestion, manifest itself as cramps. You got to wonder.
I don't believe that
really
that one player that is down, it's not cramps on his part. Let's take a timeout while we've got an injured player. Well, it's Brian Crocker getting up.
For holding his ribs. I don't know.
Certainly glad to see him get up. He was moving his legs from the get-go, which is always a good sign. But he is coming off the field very, very gingerly.
Oh, it seems to be
obviously in a great deal of pain.
Isolating that arm. Wonder if there's a problem there.
This is a place where the referees are trying to start the ball game back just a little bit too quick. Let the player get off the field. 3:19 to go. The Golden Lions have their first down and a yard and a half to spare. The ball
will
carrier.
Stop to move the chains. That's a plus for the Chargers. They get back quickly on defense.
So every time that they have a first down, it starts getting closer and closer and closer. But still, it's been a much better second half than it was the first half as far as the competitiveness of the game. Much more enjoyable for the fans. But right now, barring something very unforeseen, a mental mistake on the part of the Lions in the form of a fumble or something like that, it doesn't look good for the Chargers. Johnny Brooks, the ball carrier.
The next 2 downs are going to be critical.
That's for sure.
Absolutely critical.
And the rescue squad personnel are licking over Brian Crocker right now, and possibly there'll be a transport. I'd like to certainly mention that the Bowling Springs Rescue Squad and Shelby Rescue Squad are both standing by at this ball game. Bowling Springs always at the Crest game, and then the Shelby Rescue follows the Shelby High Golden Lions.
Second
where
surge.
they may go.
Boy, it's
tough running, and he got the first down. Johnny
Brooks made those on his own.
Johnny Brooks for the first down, and there's 2:10 to go. And friends, that's the ball game. With 2:10 to go, what do you think, Rob?
Well, Crest, I think, is going to be forced to use their timeout on this next offensive series on Shelby's part.
Their last timeout.
Now they can run the clock down effectively to the end of the ball game. Boy, Brooks has really taken this game upon himself in his last series.
This time up the middle. He picks up 6 yards on the carry. That's Brooks again. Brooks is a pretty good sized fella, Rob. He's listed at 5'10", 185, and he's only a junior.
Good sized high school back.
And he runs with a lot of savvy.
Clock is ticking down.
1:19. A lot of people are heading for the exits now, Rob.
Well, miracles have happened before, but Shelby effectively running the delay game here.
I don't think we'll
Probably
see.
the time for the Chargers to call the timeout here or on the next series. You got to get the stop.
They're calling it the timeout now, but they've wasted 10 seconds. So here again, a mental mistake playing so heavily in there. You have no timeouts left now because you called 2 timeouts in the 3rd period.
And obviously Shelby in a 2-down territory here now. They're not going to attempt to punt it away. They're going to go ahead and run it, turn it over to Crest. I think Shelby should be able to effectively run the clock out without ever turning the ball over to Crest.
Yep, the game essentially without a fumble is essentially over now. Certainly we are concerned at this time for the condition of Brian Crocker. Quite a bit of pain when he came off the field. I think the other players.
If I'm Shelby, I don't risk a lost exchange or anything. I'm just going to take the ball from center and fall on it if I'm Jeffers.
Coaches for the Crest High Chargers: Mike Stewart, Sid Bryson, John Yarborough, Tim Quattlebaum, and Alan Stroud. For the Golden Lions, who I think they're going to have to be pleased with their team tonight. Coach Jim Taylor's the head coach. Bernie Drake, Chris Norman, Jeff Jones, Tim Davis, and Chris Horn. Chris Horn, of course, was from the championship team of the 70s. He played on the first state championship team in recent times. And it was quite a team. Now he's coming back, coaching his alma mater. Brooks again.
Brooks. That's the ball game.
And Brooks is a
No way the Chargers can stop him now. The clock didn't run down that time for whatever reason.
Brooks makes you pay the price when he hits you. You know you've been hit. Scott Thomas a little slow getting up on the play.
Clock winding down now. The Chargers can see the seconds ticking off this one.
We've got 41 seconds to go. Got an official timeout. Scott Thomas comes off the field. He's under his own power, but he's had one well of a ball game. I guess if we were
picking a super ball game,
picking the players of the game, I would certainly. I think I would pick
Johnny
Scott
Brooks for Shelby,
and Scott Thomas for Crest.
Right.
That's who I would pick for my players of the game. And Robert, we're gonna have to fight some traffic getting out of here. You know.
Oh goodness.
I think we might as well wait a little while. Brooks runs up the middle, leaving a wake of Chargers following.
That'll probably do it.
17 seconds.
15.
And
it's over.
As we finish up our ball game here, we'll remind you week after next we'll be at the Vern-Shelby game, which should be something to see. The second annual Mother Against Drunk Drivers is coming up Thursday night at 6:30 p.m. at Shelby's Veterans Stadium. Shelby High School. Roman Gabriel will be there. Our final score, 26-20 in favor of the Shelby High Golden Lions. I'm Bo Lovelace and Robert Callahan in Cleveland Community College and the Teleproductions class. And we say thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.